Oh my goodness. I don't know how this has happened that it's been 2 solid years since the thousands of realtors descended upon Washington, D.C. in our annual efforts to stand together and show our elected officials what it means to be a realtor. Because, friends, I'm Lee Brown. I'm a 22-year realtor. And I don't know how many years I've now been going to the DC meetings, which are now known as the REALTORS Legislative Meetings and Expo, but they're really known as MidYear because it used to be known as the MidYear meetings. And sometimes you try to change your brand and it doesn't stick because some of us are old guard and we just cling to our traditions. So I'm here to help you. So maybe this is your first time going to the DC meetings, and I can't wait to see you if it is. And maybe you've gone 1,000 times and you've made all the mistakes, and yet you still get to DC and say, "Dag nabbit, I forgot." So this is your official list of tips. And by the way, for all the things that I'm going to tell you about, my amazing Michelle has made you a trusty little checklist of things, and it's over at leebrown.com. So here's where we're going to start. I want you to start with actually your device, okay? Because on your device, you can download the app for the legislative meetings. It's a very busy little logo here that says Home Front. When you download the app, you can set your schedule, and I will tell you what you need to go to. So if you are a new person, you can go to schedule. You can pick up all the little different areas you want to hang out in. So if you're a women's council person, you can see the women's council meetings and, hey, hashtag leaders made here. And maybe you are a person who's focused on profitability and you want to go dial in to get to hang out with the CRS people, the Residential Real Estate Council. You'll see all of their meetings. You will see all the general governance meetings. And for all of those things, you're thinking, holy smokes, I don't even know where to start. All right, so find somebody like me. You don't know where to go. I'll tell you, because I'm very bossy. There's lots of other bossy people too. And for the record, the first time I went to MidYear meetings, I didn't know what to do, y'all. And it was a friend of mine from South Carolina, Milton Shockley, put me in his hip pocket. And he said, "Come on." He carried me everywhere and said, "That's what we're doing right here." And so what you're going to do is see what you need to visit. Some of the meetings say by invitation only, or they say closed meeting. That means you can't go unless you have an invite. Don't get your feelings hurt. There's plenty of things to do. And so then you're going to be able to save things to your schedule. So here's what needs to be on your schedule. And then I'm going to tell you what to bring with you to your schedule. I'll be at the opening member reception for CRSs on Sunday night. You should always go to receptions because it's sociable. And some of y'all need to remember how to hug again, and you need to shake hands. And can I just tell y'all that optimal hugs last at least 10 seconds. And I've been accused of being a little creepy for hugging that long, but that's when the endorphins actually cut loose. And this is science, just so you know. So then on Monday is when the bulk of the heavy duty stuff starts. You got your federal, legislative, and political forum. You want to go to this. Speakers are going to be rock solid. It's great information about prosperity and fair housing. We know that every community across the country is going to have interest in that. And spoiler alert, all the things that you learn, you need to make sure that you're talking about them so that your neighbors and clients back home will know what you're doing in DC, that it's beyond the networking. So get yourself a little tiny tripod, and then you can find a little table in the lobby. You can stand outside near a wall and make a little video, because some of y'all have shaky arms and bingo wings, and you need a tripod to make your camera steady. And then you can tell all the people back home what you learned in that forum. And then we have things like the State Leadership Idea Exchange. I'll be in there hanging out with other state leadership, figure out what I can help North Carolina get better at. And there's also things like the Young Professionals event. Some things need tickets, some things don't. On Wednesday, you have the Residential Economic Issues and Trends Forum. I'm going to be speaking there. What? That's right, because I have lots of opinions on things. And I'll be with my partner in crime, Tommy Choi, my fellow vice president from last year. And of course, we'll have the guy you all love more than life itself, and that would be Dr. Lawrence Yoon. And did you know that Dr. Yoon is from South Carolina? Spoiler alert, he's one of my people. And so make sure you go over there. Tiffany Curry's going to be with us, Jessica Louts, and yes, it's like a serious rock star panel. But you talk about trends, y'all. The question that your people are asking you right now when you're at the grocery store, they're not asking you how's the market. They know the market's on fire. You know what they're asking you? They're like, hey, lean in and tell me real quick, when's it going to crash? When's the bubble going to burst? That's why you go to things like the Residential Economic Trends Forum, so you can get some insights and actual data. And then we have an opportunity for those of you that are on the National Board of Directors. You get to vote for the person who will be our president in 2025, Daryl Branham or Kevin Sears. And on May the 4th, which is Wednesday, they'll be doing their speeches. So you can hear from them. You'll be able to hear. Next, that's treasurer. That's going to be Craig Sanford and Greg Crabcheck. I think Daryl and Kevin must be on Wednesday the 3rd. Look, I've already gotten myself confused. Well, yes, they're on Wednesday the 3rd, which is also, by the way, right before the Hall of Fame ceremony. And so if you are a new person who's involved in the political advocacy that we do, also known as RPAC, 760 realtors are getting inducted into the Hall of Fame, and you should come hang out and cheer because it's a really good time to get hugs. And you need 10 hugs a day for optimal health, just so you know. So those are a couple of things. You're also going to find that there's a general session on Tuesday morning. I'm all over the place here because I'm a realtor. Hey, what can I do? Inside Politics with Punchbowl News. This one's going to be rock star good. So make sure that you go to any of the general sessions. And yes, I know they're early, but you got to suck it up sometimes, friends. It's worth it. Now, the way to make it easier to suck it up and get there, bring your running shoes, all right? Because we have a whole Facebook group. And by the way, somebody type it in for me over here who's paying attention. There's a whole Facebook group called Realtor Runners and Walkers. You can join that group, and then we will let you come hang out with us. And speed is not a thing, right? This is about fellowship and networking. So there will be some walkers, some sloggers, joggers, and maybe even some runners. So bring your running shoes. And I have this trusty little pouch for mine that I got on Amazon. And it keeps my disgusting shoes in a separate place from everything else in my bag. And so, and speaking of those little bags, when you're buying those, you need these little ones. Look, I got things that jump all out of my bag because I travel too much. So get these little tiny kits, and you can roll your underpants up in there and your bras, and then they will stay in one place. And that's very important to keep your unmentionables together. All right. Now that we talked schedule and we talked your running shoes and you're going to go join the group, I got to tell you, we will be going, thank you, Dawn, at like 5 in the morning. You can do this, all right? Because when you go to the meetings in DC, you're going to have to get up really early and you're going to go to bed really late. And so how do you manage all of that? You have to exercise, y'all. I hate to be the one to tell you that, but you also need to have your vitamins. And because it's a heavy, heavy allergy season in DC, apparently the air is practically yellow up in that area. If you take the actual prescription allergy meds, go on and bring them. But for those of y'all that are like me and you prefer the supplement world, get you some Super C. That's vitamin C, zinc, and vitamin D. Because if you didn't know, that also helps you stay healthy when you're hugging people who might accidentally have a cold and forgot to tell you. And then that will also help you fight off those allergies, just so you know. All right, now I told you you're going to be walking a lot. You need good shoes. Bring flats. Do not bring heels. I mean, unless you're the person who can walk in them all day, and high five, friend, if that's you, but that is not me. I have 1.5 inch heels, and I might bring some for the board of directors meeting, so I will look fancy. But I generally wear Rothy's at the meetings. Why do I wear Rothy's? They're the only comfortable flats I've ever found. They're machine washable. They're made out of recycled things, so I guess I'm helping the world or something. And they don't stink because I wash them all the time. And so there will be a coupon for y'all for Rothy's. And this is the Mary Jane one. And Leslie Williams, who is my friend from Raleigh, sent me a video to show me how to tie it correctly because she was worried that I didn't have it looking pretty when I tied it. Some friends just have to look after you, okay? And so that's the kind of shoes that you need to wear. Do not miss me on this, y'all. Your feet will be dying. Now, because your feet will be dying, I'll show y'all the other insider tip that I got from Heather Osier, who is in California leadership. And I thank her for this every time I get a blister on my foot because I had children that made my feet too big. I don't know why children do that to you. It's kind of aggressive. But buy some cheap athletic tape, all right? So you don't need a pile of Band-Aids. You know how they turn black around the edges when you have a blister? Get some cheap athletic tape for like $2, although with inflation it might be $3 or even $4 depending on where you live. You put a piece of this athletic tape over a cut or a blister, y'all, it won't hurt. And then you will not be tempted, excuse me, look at me, I'm like having an attack here of pollen or something. You won't be tempted to get a safety pin out and poke it and bust it because you know you're not supposed to bust open your blisters. Carry this around in your bag. And by the way, this is my little bag that stays in my backpack. It's my little mom bag where I have athletic tape for blisters. I have emergency hairspray because you know hair emergencies are going to happen. I also have a toothbrush, and some of y'all need to know the true advice of world is if somebody offers you a breath mint, it's not because they're being nice. If they offer you a breath mint, friend, it's because you need one, and you should say thank you so much and take it. And then you should run to the bathroom and brush your teeth because that's good manners. I also have a nail file in here and an emergency sewing kit and face wash and all manner of things, frankly. So if you're having an emergency, just come find me because I'm a mother all the time. even though some of y'all don't belong to me. And speaking of the things that you need to have, all right, so now we're paying attention. I told you about those comfortable shoes. Get yourself a shawl or a jacket. And I have my big old cheap pashmina here. You know where I bought this, right? From the Scarf King in the expo. And you know that there's a really big reason to go to the expo. First of all, a lot of y'all have softwares and websites and things that you use. Look, you can walk in there and renegotiate, and sometimes they didn't give you the current deal, just like Verizon gives new people a better deal than they gave to you, and that's just hateful and ugly. So walk in there and renegotiate and get you some new terms. Visit the Scarf King, and you will find it is the most popular booth at any realtor meeting. You can buy a bunch of these for gifts for your clients, but get one to wrap it around your shoulders instead of fussing about it being cold. Bring your solution, okay? And by the way, if you fold correctly, these don't take up but just a tiny little space in your bag. And so just fold it up and keep it. And why do I have pink? Because I love fuchsia. I really do. And I have another fancy one too, but I'm not bringing my fancy one because, you know, DC is not necessarily the cleanest city on the planet, but that's something for y'all to fix. All right, so now you've got your scarf and you've got your shoes. Now let's talk about some very important things. I know that some of y'all don't need this, but I'm medium aged and some of y'all are younger and your day will come. So maybe you should save this video for the future. And some of you are medium plus and you're thinking, Lee Brown, I need some help. And I'm with you, friend. So my good friend, Wendy Harris, who's a North Carolina presidency, Wendy's full of lots of things besides just selling houses. She told me about Braytox Insta. Now, this is the best link I have on the resource thing. This gets rid of the bags up under your eyes, y'all, because after you spend a couple of days from Oh Dark 30 to Oh Dark 30, you will need some eye cream. And this is kind of like Botox minus the formaldehyde going into your skin, which I think is highly unhealthy. And so this little tube saves my life. It will tighten this up. Some of y'all use Preparation H, but I highly prefer Braytox Insta because it doesn't have that Preparation H smell. Just going to point that out. Now, for the gentlemen who are thinking, Lee Brown, I don't need that. I'm fancy. Okay, I hear you. But you're going to hug a whole bunch of ladies here because the average age of a realtor is 56 years old. And that means a lot of them wear oil-based foundation because we like to wear makeup when we go to DC and we like to look good. And so when somebody hugs you that has oil-based foundation, you know what happens? You get a face right here on your shoulder. And I love some of y'all. I can actually tell who hugs because you're wearing somebody else's makeup. And then you're thinking, I didn't even do anything. I know, right? So here's what you need. You need some cheap Barbasol. I have the Rite Aid brand shaving cream. And I mean the cheap stuff, the white shaving cream right here. You need this stuff for about $3 or maybe $4. You spray a little bit of this on wherever the foundation went. Get you a dry cloth and brush. Shazam, the foundation's gone. This will travel with me because I will hug people. I will get makeup on me and I will be able to take it off. And that's very important. Now, also in this little trusty tricky bag here, I have Epsom salt because my feet will hurt at night. And I might sit in the tub in that hotel room and let my feet soak while I check my emails and handle my deals for the day. And by the way, Heather, that eye cream is called Braytox Insta. There's a coupon on my resource list where I will save you some money because it's not the cheapest. It's not the most expensive, but it's totally worth it. It's kind of the same reason I spend so much on my hair, y'all. I wear it every day, so I pay for that. All right, so in addition to these very important things, because you're realtors, you like to have adult beverages at night. And when we go to have adult beverages at night, you should know that some of you just aren't as young as you used to be. And I hate to be the one that had to tell you, but COVID happened, took 2 years of your life away. And now some of y'all have realized that the 2 years COVID took is a lot and taking its hammer on you. And I can't find my bottle because apparently I ran out. So I'm going to have to go. And that, by the way, that's why we're doing this video a few days before we leave. So you have time to go shop and see, because I got you, friend. You need this stuff called filtered charcoal. Now, if you wonder why you take filtered charcoal, if you take that stuff before you go out to drinking, it will take the effects of the alcohol out your system. So by the next morning, you will not be a fuzzy-headed person. You'll be able to contribute, because I know y'all will do your due diligence and read all of your meetings and agenda reports before you go, because I know you're awesome like that. And so that will keep your head clear. And by the way, you could also be just wise as a serpent and get a glass of club soda, put a lime in it, let everybody think you're having a cocktail, but then you can sleep at night, okay? That's very important. Now, when I'm talking about those kinds of secrets for meetings, I will tell you that you will be using your devices a lot. And so I have in my trusty backpack, which I should probably show to those of y'all that have not seen it. It's a realtor backpack. If you want any of these realtor things like my shirt or the backpack, they're at store.realtor. You can buy it now, but you might not get it in time before we land in DC. So go to the expo center. There will be a whole realtor booth full of stuff. And spoiler alert, you better get there quick because people will figure it out by day 3. And then they will want to have some of the fancy realtor garb. And all that will be left is an extra small and a 4X. And you will be sad that you did not get your medium. So go get your stuff now, or get it right there when you get there. Get your badge and then go shopping. All right. By the way, this one, though, this little fancy pen I have on here, my Hall of Famer pen for our pack. If you want one of these, you should send me a DM and I will explain that to you, or you can come talk to me at the MidYear meetings. So this is my technology pouch that lives in my backpack. In here, I have charging cords for everything, for my phone, for my earpods, and for my computer. And I also have a multi USB thingamajiggy bob so I can share, because realtors share. And if you get a plug in the wall, there's not nearly enough plugs. Now, I don't know the Gaylord, and we're all at a new hotel. So I will tell you, it's like the big equalizer this year that we are not at our favorite hotel, the Wardman. And so I know there were not nearly enough plugs at the Wardman since it was built before the wireless era. It was built when you paid extra for phone and cable jacks in your new house. You remember those days, realtors? I'm sure that the Gaylord has plugs, but if you're taking the last one in the wall, have 3 spots for a friend, and then you can network and share business cards, and maybe you will even have a story to tell about that favorite referral partner. And speaking of business cards, oh, those are secrets. I might have a prize for somebody that asked me for a prize there. Keep a little charger block with you. I have this one that came from the Greater Los Angeles Realtors. They gave it to me as a prize, and so I carry it around. And that's what happens in realtor world. You need to have some business cards with you. All right. So here's what you're going to do with the business cards. You're going to meet other great, really smart realtors, and you're going to say, hey, what's happening in your market? What's happening with your builders? What's happening with affordable housing? What's happening with zoning? Because y'all, the conversations that we have at the MidYear meetings are fairly deep stuff. Now, you will have, of course, some fluffy things because there's fluffy people, but we have majorly important conversations about very non-sexy topics, and we have it with each other so we can develop some really good deep thought processes. And then we have hill visits, and a hill visit is when you go visit your elected official. Now, I'm in North Carolina. They just redistricted my whole state, so I have a whole different elected official this time. And unfortunately, the meeting with her conflicts when I have another meeting. And so you have to make decisions based on your calendar, but you need to spend as much time as possible on Capitol Hill with your elected official and with their staff. Don't forget the staff. They work very hard, and a lot of them know the housing policy issues that nobody else will talk about except us, y'all. I mean, it's realtors that are willing to do the very boring, not sexy housing policy work, and that's why we're going. So take your business cards. You can hand it to that nice little 23-year-old who got their poli-sci degree and now works for your senator, and you can say, hey, call me, and I can tell you what's happening over here in our zip code and how it's impacting the people who are going to vote for you. And then you can hand me one and say, hey, Lee Brown, here's my card. And I will say, tell me something about you, because I have a personal rule about business cards. And if you haven't seen that video, I've made it. You can look at all my other videos. I can't remember where I'm supposed to point, but you can go find the links. I am looking to collect 5 business cards. I don't really want 4,000 cards. I want 5. I want to have a really good conversation and make a new friend. Somebody's really smart that I respect and maybe is running for office or has done something really impactful so that I can grow by being in your presence. That's another reason we go to DC, is we help each other grow. Am I right or am I right? I'm right. Now, I also carry some hot tea in my bag because at nighttime, my throat's tired because I have talked all day long, because talking is definitely one of my talents. And so in addition to having some hot tea for the evening time, I have my I'm reaching around in my bag, and I probably should have been more organized, but hey. Oh, I got extra ear pods if you have an old school phone with a plug in it. Still don't know why I'm carrying those, but here we are. You need these things. Best invention ever is Fisherman's Friends. These are the only throat lozenges that work. We call them the speaker's friend, those of us that speak for a living. This will save your throat when you have talked entirely too much, or if you went to something like the Young Professionals networking event and you had to talk real loud over top of other really loud people. These are magical, but I buy the mint. Get the green stripe, and trust me on this. If you buy that original flavor, you are going to throw open your mouth a little bit, and then you're going to be mad at me. So just make sure that everybody knows I told y'all the mint flavor green stripe is the flavor to get, and go order those right now so you have them. All right, so now there's something else you want to order while y'all are spending money. I just told you you're going to be out and about a lot. You need some of these little thingamajiggies here. These are RFID holders, and you can get them for like $4, and you get a whole slew of them. You need these because your hotel room key is going to be deactivated when it gets up next to your phone. So this is what my room key stays in. And now I can put this next to my phone. I can put it in my pocket. I can put it anywhere. Sometimes I carry things in my bra. And does anybody else use your bra as a pocketbook? I mean, maybe the small people can't do that, but I'm grateful to have a place to hold things. But this is what's going to be in there. And also when I go running in the morning, this can stay in here. Then the sweat won't mess up my card. And when you go to the front desk, always ask for an extra key and let your best friend hold it, because you don't know when you're going to lose it. And I don't know why y'all get a spare key and then leave it in your room. That does not make a whole lot of sense to me. Now, what else I need to tell y'all about? You need to have a water bottle in your backpack, and I've got a hole in my backpack where I took it out to wash it in the kitchen. So bring a water bottle because you got to stay hydrated with really good things, and that will be water all day. And speaking of food and water, you need to make sure that at these meetings, because you are going to be working all day long. And that's one thing that the public doesn't always understand, because some of y'all like to go to the socials and post pictures of yourself with your friends having a good time and looking so cute, because y'all look amazing in your selfies and you're really talented at it. But your clients need to know that you're working. And so in my bag, I have Twizzlers because that's my candy of choice. And even though my front teeth are still wiggly from my fall in Dayton, Ohio, I can chew on my back teeth. But I keep some protein bars in my bag, and I like Built bars just because Jason Whitlock talks about them on his podcast, and I love Jason Whitlock. And so I carry some protein bars around, and then I have something to nibble on, because part of the problem that realtors have, and y'all know that you do this when you're showing houses all day, you forget to eat, and you forget to let your clients eat too. You get to the end of the day and you're like a wet spaghetti noodle and you got nothing left. But y'all, our meetings are going to go all day, every day. And we need you at your very best peak performance, because when you choose to come to our realtor meetings, we hope you're bringing your best brain and the insights for what's happening in your market, so that we can showcase how critical realtors are to private property rights. Because spoiler alert, nobody's going to tell our story if we don't tell it. And if you are running on empty, you can't tell it. So make sure you keep some protein bars in there. Now, here's what else you need to be thinking about. Oh, I'm a mess now. Y'all feel me, right? It's a mess. Oh, Lord. Okay, so if I'm going to be running, I've got to have my lights and all of that action. I will have all of that. If you're going to have a roommate, because it's very expensive in Washington, D.C., you need to have some spray for your room. And I'm trying to see where my spray got off to. The little room spray, the deodorizer, maybe the poo-pourri. That will make you everybody's best friend, because there's a lot of action in the lobby bathrooms, because we're grown-ups. But I'm just saying, look after your roommates, bring some spray for the toilet. And I know that sounds tacky, and some of y'all are now horrified, but, get over yourselves. Bring some Tylenol or ibuprofen. This will be in my little emergency mom bag, because I have to have it. I will have my most expensive piece of jewelry, and if you ask nicely, I'll let you make a picture of it when we get there. This is my RPAC realtor bracelet with all my years of commitment to the work that we do to protect private property rights, because y'all, nobody sees this work. And so sometimes you just have to take all your pins, make a charm bracelet out of it, and wear it. And I will show you that when we get there. I also have lipstick, because can we celebrate no masks? Whoop, whoop, whoop. But if somebody's wearing one, be nice to them anyway. And just make sure you have your lipstick, because now you can wear it again. It won't just be on the inside of your mask. And I also have in here, I've got some Sharpies, because you never know when you're going to need a Sharpie. Sylvia Seabolt put my autograph on her arm last night like it was a tattoo, and we were not drinking, for the record. And so I might tattoo your arm, I guess. Sylvia's trying to start a thing. She's the president of the Women's Council right now, and she's a little bit on the fun and crazy side. Now, we also have Fridays. Now, Friday is red, so we wear red to celebrate the deployed people. And so if you bring something red, bring it for Friday. And so I've got my red jacket, and I'm ready to roll here. If you don't know how to get all the things in your bag, watch one of my previous packing videos where I show you exactly how to get everything in one bag. Because no, Teresa Pitt, you do not need 14 pairs of shoes. You need a couple of pairs of flats. And you know what happens anyway, right? You bring all these things and you wear the same two the whole time. Please bring something to sleep in. And you don't need a bathing suit, because it's not that time of year, but you do need some running clothes, walking clothes. And I want to tell you how to dress for this, because if you've never come to the Realtors Mid-Year Meetings before, you might think, oh, well, if we're just doing meetings, this is super casual, right? No, 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 no. You are the best of the best. If you want to be casual, at least wear something that says Realtor. And I will travel maybe in my cargo pants, but I would never wear these to a meeting, because I want to be perceived as a professional. It's the same thing in your day-to-day real estate business. You need to look as smart as you are, friends. Same reason your grandma told you to dress up to go to church, is so you can bring your best. We are going to the Capitol. We need our elected officials to listen to us because we understand real estate. We understand that the multiple listing service should not be a regulated utility. It is a place where you and I, as professionals, can choose to cooperate with one another to make sure that our clients have access to the entire real estate market. We need to make them hear us, and they hear us better when we dress in professional clothing. So what I will tell you is that you'll see me wearing flats, but you won't see me in blue jeans, okay? Now, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with you if you wear them. I will tell you that I do want to see you. This is the mama hen in me coming out. I want to see you dress in a way that shows me you're proud of yourself and you are confident. Now, that's business casual. Now, you don't have to be super dressy, three-piece suit. You don't have to have a pocket square, although I love a man in a pocket square. And ladies, you don't have to wear pantyhose because, frankly, nobody wants to wear pantyhose unless you're showing a house that has fleas, in which case you totally wear pantyhose because you can wipe the fleas off. And now everybody knows that's why we wear pantyhose. A blazer dresses up any outfit. Slacks will go with a decent top, and suddenly you will look professional. But just think about it, y'all. Especially on Wednesday when we go to Capitol Hill, there's a reason that many of our congressional people have dress codes for their staff. And even if you're the most dressed up person there, it's going to set a different message than if you are being your most yoga pants self. Okay? I love you. You know I'm right. All right, so now we're going to get our business casual clothing. And let's talk about some of the other meetings you need to go to. Now, each one of y'all belongs to a caucus, okay? That is your state. Now, I am in North Carolina, hey, and I'm also South Carolina Realtor, hey, ×2. And we are Region 4, North Carolina, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky. Each one of y'all belongs to a caucus. I see Stephanie Jones is here from Michigan. She belongs to Region 6 with Ohio. When you see that on the calendar, that's for you. Even if you've never been to it before, that's not just for the leadership teams. That is for any realtor member in those states. So make sure you go so you can find out what's happening with the board of directors. You can see if there's anything happening in your states. You can get some updates. Ideally, in your caucus, you might even hear from some committees. You'll get some really great information. And then you'll get your trusty phone out, right, and your little tripod. Make a message and send it home to all the people that you serve so that they will know that what realtors are doing out there is meant to serve every neighbor in every zip code. Because remember, that's what fair housing is. We take care of every neighbor, every zip code. Now, you're going to go to your caucus meeting. There's going to be some receptions to go to. Some need an invitation, some don't. If you want to go, just ask. The task is to ask, as we say in the Women's Council. And by the way, speaking of Women's Council and the Residential Real Estate Council, or RRC, there's also educational sessions. And so if you get burned out on governance and meetings and what's happening with policy and with entrepreneur issues, you can go learn how to better communicate with your seller clients, how to do great marketing for your buyer clients, how to run a more profitable business. There's great education available. And I'm very proud of the Realtor organization because in addition to those residential pieces, we also have a lot of offerings out there for our commercial members, our land members in the Realtors Land Institute, our property managers. We have information for you as well. So don't think that there's nothing for you at the mid-year meetings. There absolutely is. Now, speaking of something for you, what was I going to show y'all? Look, I have gotten myself distracted here because I tend to go down rabbit holes sometimes. Oh, Lord. Let's see what I need to remind y'all about. Oh, there's lots of plastic bags in my suitcase because I don't like my smelly clothes to mix and mingle. You know, that's just not a good idea. I do keep an emergency dress with me at all times. This is my little tiny dress because, see, it's polyester. It doesn't wrinkle. I got it at Marshall's, which means it didn't cost me much of nothing. It'll squish in the bottom of my bag. And then if I have a coffee incident or if I go eat something with red sauce, I'm totally going to be wearing it. And I've got an emergency clothing item with me. And that's how much I organize. I also have 4 pairs of reading glasses. There's a lot that we have to read here. And when we go to our realtor meetings, I'm going to implore you. I know you don't like the hub. I don't like it either. It's kind of a hot dumpster fire of mess a lot of times. But when you go to the hub, which is where realtors can communicate, you're going to see a lot of minutes and agendas for lots of different meetings and opportunities. You need to read it. So put your readers on and then you can read it. And then you will be prepared for the meetings and ask your questions in advance. And speaking of that, we do have a big motion coming before the board of directors on behalf of the treasurer's forum. So if you're going to have questions about that motion, go to the treasurer's forum and ask your questions. And then be prepared to go to the microphone. But if you're going to go to the microphone, all I ask is that you be prepared and you don't get up there and sound like a ninny muggins who didn't pay any attention to what was already in writing and who did not ask any questions. Now, speaking of that, some of y'all have never been before. Maybe you've never been on a national committee and you're just showing up because you can still register. at legislative.realtor. There is no registration fee for this, y'all. We want you to show up, like seriously want you to show up. Now you'll have to get somewhere to stay. And the hotel rooms are kind of scarce because the Gaylord's full, but there's a ton of options in and around Old Town Alexandria. Ty Wynn, who is our liaison from the Northern Virginia Realtors, has said that their association office is going to have some snacks and things for those that are commuting in the shuttle buses. There's lots of ways to get around, but get a roommate, all right? So look around at the people making comments and watching this video and say, hey, does anybody have a spare half of a queen bed? And if you bring your CPAP machine, if you're a snorer, you could, and maybe some cash, you'll probably be able to find a roommate, and then you could save a little bit of money. And also, that's great networking. And most of us just, so you know, have a conference spouse of some sort that we sleep with at these meetings, but not in the way that some of y'all are thinking. That's not what I meant, and you know it. It's so we can save money because it's very expensive in Washington, D.C. Now, since you're going to be sharing that room and showing up at, go to legislative.realtor and get registered. It does not take you but 2 seconds to get registered. And I'm telling you, we want you there. But I was saying, if you want to be on a committee, the application process is open right now. So if you go to nar.realtor, you can go fill out your member profile and tell us what you would like to do in the way of service. Now, maybe you've never served before and you're a little bit nervous and out of your element. Guess what? Everybody was there at some point, and anybody that acts like they know everything, probably not your friend. You want the person who opens a kimono and tells you all the secrets. So go to the meetings that sound interesting to you. As long as it doesn't say by invitation only or closed, you can go sit in the gallery. The gallery is the part outside the table. You don't really get to talk unless you are asked to do so, but you can listen and take notes and figure out where your specific skills could be dialed in. Now, what else do I need to tell y'all about? Let's see, definitely bring some toothpaste. I'm checking my bag right here. Bring your deodorant, please. Ask on behalf of all of us. Oh, let's see what I have in it. Oh, I bring my own hair dryer because I don't trust hotel hair dryers, and especially since we're at the Gaylord, I don't trust their equipment. Oh, look, see right there, Al Block says if someone has a room and wants to share, he would be glad to talk to you in your DMs. Keep it clean, people, keep it clean. Okay, now something else I wanted to tell y'all to bring with you. I have my trusty notebook, and yes, it's got Realtor on it because, yes, everything I have has Realtor on it. I have a budget leak for Realtor stuff. I have a notebook because I don't remember things very well. I blame the children, and ginseng does not help. And so this has my ink pen on it, and I'm ready to take notes. This is all the secrets for how to save the world through real estate. And I do not do it on my device because, A, my device might die, and B, I don't remember where I put anything, so I can find all my notes here. So I keep my trusty notebook with me. And if some of y'all see me taking notes, it's because I really think you're saying something valuable, and I won't remember jack diddly squat. So let's see what else I need to tell y'all about. I think that's got it. I told you how to not be hungover in the morning. I told you to bring your Tylenol. I told you how to get rid of the bags under your eyes. I told you what shoes to wear. I told you that I really want to see you there. I will tell you that if you can't show up, there are some virtual options. We do have some members that have some conflicts because of Ramadan. We have some people that have conflicts because of family emergencies, graduations, and Mother's Day is coming up. There's always going to be a conflict, but there's always a way to be involved if you choose to make it a priority. So go on over to legislative.realtor and get registered. And Swanee, I'm forgetting something really good, but that's all right. I'll post it later. Y'all need to follow me on all the socials. And remember, if you go to leebrown.com, there is a whole resource list of all the suggestions that I have to make this an amazing week for you. Don't forget your expensive jewelry. Don't forget your reading glasses. Bring your charger cords and come find me because I can't wait to hug your neck. And by the way, if this is your first time coming and you need a friend, you can come sit by me and I will say lots of inappropriate things under my breath or maybe even out loud. But you don't have to do this alone, y'all. There's 1.6 million realtors and nobody knows our communities like we do. So now let's take it to the hill and make sure we're taking care of our neighbors because nobody else can do it like a realtor does. I'll see you in DC in 1 week.